All right. So the difference between la'u and lo'u, both of them mean my, but the difference is the A class and the O class. And when I say class, there's certain things that you refer to as la'u, and you wouldn't refer to it as lo'u. There's certain things you refer to as lo'u, and you wouldn't refer to it as la'u. There's a respect factor there. There's a you can play with words with A and O. It's much more deeper in the Samoan language because we have this A and O class element. So first of all, relatives. When we talk about O class things, I wouldn't say la'u tina, la'u tama, like tina, my mother, my father, tama, tina matua. I wouldn't say o la'u. It's kind of, you know, I would think it was disrespectful. Somebody else might not think it is, but someone's gonna have a definition for how they feel about it. But it's O classes are things that are, you're giving some reverence to it. It's something that's out of your control. Okay, so that's why I wouldn't say ola'u because that's an A class. A class things are stuff that you can throw away. Um, those are, I refer to my telephone, my phone as a la'u telephone. And we'll get to the A class. Let me stop talking about that. But you guys are in? Okay. So O class, your parents, your grandparents, your siblings, olo'u uso. Olo'u tuafafine, my sister. Lo'u uso, my brother, right? My cousins and all that. All of these people. Some people say, I guess once you get down to cousins, it can be an A class. Because I hear people say that all the time. I don't know the difference, you know, as in terms of what's correct or not. I just refer to all of my family as O class. So that's just where I keep my relatives. Um, Things that provide and protect. So I've never once in life heard anybody say la'u atua. Atua is like well, not like, but it is like the Lord, the deity. So it would always be like an O class thing because it's over you, it's out of your league. It's like it's covering, it's protecting you, it provides and protects. So God, one thing that was tricky for me in the beginning is how like your house. Your house is a O class thing. So I would think that that's something that you could replace, but it's considered O class. And then your land. So in Samoa, like if you got land, it provides for you. So that is an O class thing. So you got God, your houses, or your house, your houses, and your land. Those are all O class things. Body parts. So I wouldn't say ola ulima, even though I hear people say that. For the most part, a body part is going to be supposedly a O class thing. Ola ulima, I'm sorry, olo ulima, olo isu, kalinga, olo kalinga. All of your body parts will be an O class thing. I guess maybe because it was given to you. You had no control of how you look or what you have. That's your body parts. O class. Irreplaceable things. So here's a play on words. When you hear songs, like a lot of you'll hear a song and they'll use O class things for even things that are actually replaceable, like friendships or relationships. Instead of saying oh la upele, like la upele is like my dear, my love. But if you hear somebody say oh, like you went a little deeper with it, you know what I mean? So it's like oh, I couldn't, I had no choice, like you were the one, sort of thing, right? But la upele would be like my love, my dear. But if I say olo upele, that's like that you're taking it like on my mom's level, like um my dad's level, something like that. So, but irreplaceable things are basically O class. Okay, things and situations that are out of your control. And I like this example. I heard this online. Your stories. So let's say you guys are a celebrity. You're a celebrity. You wake up and you hear a story about you. It's your story. You didn't have any input on it. They put all this stuff together and they said he not a great guy. He embezzles money. He does this and that. That, but it's your story. You didn't say any of it. It's out of your control though. So story is tala. So if someone phrases it or lona, and we'll get into what which ones mean what. Right now we're just on A and O. If someone says olona tala instead of olana tala, okay, that's like saying if I'm talking about a guy, that would be his story. So olona tala, his story. If I say olana tala, that's her story, right? But they didn't have anything to do with it. They have nothing to do with that story. So it's just on TMZ or whatever, right? It's out of their control. You're hearing about their story. All right. And then the subject. So and we talked about subjects the first week. That's who we're talking about. They have a subservient position. So all of these things we're talking about, your relatives that you had no control over, you were kind of subservient in that. You just waited around, came into Earth, and then you had, a mom, dad, grandparents, siblings, and cousins, right? You came to Earth, or you got a house, it provides and protects. There's a subservient position with the O class. So if everyone understand that O class things are something that's it's above you, out of your control. All right. So that's what O class is, and we're going to use this in a few different at least another phrase like the location phrase. But for right now, if you can remember, we're just learning the principle. Okay, we're getting on the principle. Now, the principle of the A class. Talked about friendships in the O class. Those are irreplaceable, things that you just kind of walk into or you're born into. Friendships. So we can be friends. We don't have to be friends. Like, I don't have to talk to you no more after this. So you're A class. The U, let me tell U and O, uo, that's a friend, right? So if I say, I guess I should be typing this out. Okay, so if I say olau uo, okay, so that I guess this should have a fatma over it. Olau uo, that's my friend, my friend. Okay, and it's an A class thing because we ain't got to be friends. We don't have to be friends no more if you don't want to, or if I don't want to. You're replaceable. But that's just the nature of what we're talking about. Things and situations you have control over, and that applies for this too. You have control over this A class relationship, this friendship. So that also pets, and your story. So let's go back to our story example. This time, TMZ comes and talks to you. It's no longer it's not a O class thing, it's an A class thing, because now it's Olana. And like I said, we're right after this, we're going to talk about Lana, Lona, and all of that. So his story or her story. Now it's your story coming out of your mouth. It's an A class thing. It comes out of your mouth. You have control. What did he say? Authority. You had the authority. You had the authority over that story. Okay. So the things that come out of your mouth, you have control over it. A class. Replaceable things. All right. So that's ola'u kelfongi. I wouldn't say olo'u because I could just throw this away and go get another one. Anything in here, pretty much. I guess except for the house, because the house covers and protect. But like tusi, I got a bunch of books over here. Or olo'u tusi. I'm sorry, ola'u tusi. It's A class. My book. So anything that's replaceable, A class. And again, a characteristic of all of these things is that you have an authoritative position over the A class thing. So that's the difference between la'u. Okay, la'u is my, and you're in. Okay, that's the difference between la'u and lo'u. Okay, la'u and lo'u. La'u is that it's my thing that I have authority and control over. Lo'u is still my thing, but I didn't really have a say so in it. That's the difference between la'u and lo'u, and those types of mind. All right, so let's go to this slide here. And we're gonna go slow this week because this is the week. It's week 3 and 4. Like things come up, kids got basketball games, football games, and then you miss one thing, and then it's like when they come back, they're like, oh wow, what did you guys talk about? So they get really lost and confused, and like, I'll just come back for the next for the next 8 weeks. We'll come back to that. Okay, so the limiters are, someone has a question, let me see. A spouse. So this was, okay, I made a post about spouses. Like, just for me, just to be safe, I always say, oh, I would say, olo'u, lo'u to alua, like my spouse, right? But some people say like, okay, you just go get another spouse. And these were people from Samoa, so I don't know, like, I was like, well, I'm not gonna debate you because but um I think that's one of those, a lot of these are, I hear people saying both kind of ways. So if you want to refer to your spouse as la'u to'olua, that's on you. You go ahead and try that if you want. But I just keep it safe and just say lo'u. I just use old class. I hear people say lao pele, yeah, or lao honey, yeah, yep. So like yeah, because that's you mean for talking about their spouse, like alifale. So it's like boyfriend, yeah, see, boyfriend or girlfriend, you go get another boyfriend, girlfriend. It's not a big deal. So boyfriend, girlfriends, like they're almost always, I hear it's gonna be a class. But like, let's say for example, you want to use the wordplay, right? And I want you to like me. I'm gonna say I'll put you in the O class. You'll be in the first class. So you just use the fancy words and you do everything in O class.
That's kind of like, that's like defining the relationship. Then you're like, oh, I like you more. I'm gonna put the O.
Right, put the O on it. Yeah, put the O on it. So
The ring, that's the ring.
yeah, that's the ring. Oh yeah, man, that is, I like that. Somebody can make a song out of that. Wow. Yep. Oh, okay. Manuela Malanga versus Manuelo Malanga. Okay, so this is a very sensitive one. So Manuel Lau Malanga. So if Malanga is a trip, right? So if I say Manuel La Malanga, that's the trip that you're going on, right? So that's your trip. I'm gonna go back to Monterey, California, hang out with them. I'm gonna come back to Illinois. Manuel La Malanga. Somebody tells me that. I go and I come back. Manuel Lo Malanga, that's a different trip. You're not coming back from that trip. That's a trip that you know, God sent you on that trip. So yeah, RIP, right. So Lo Malanga is gonna be out of your control. By lots of cries. But La Malanga, that's yeah, okay, I'll see you next week, sort of thing. So Lo Malanga is RIP. No control over that. Out of your control. Does that make sense? I'm glad you said it. I'm gonna use that in every class because I think everybody they're sticking with me. Like I just understood it a little bit more when you said it like that. So thank you for that question or input. Oh yeah. Well, a lot of people they use A and O class interchangeably all the time. So like I said, I try to stick with the book as much as possible, and then you just adapt to your own environment, the way people are speaking. So we are kind of like doing above and beyond what conversational Samoan is doing. But it's really hard to teach slang or everyday kind of Samoan because it's always changing. So we stick with the standard, and then but at least you know what the basis is. Like, okay, if they say this, then it means that. It means that. And if you get in a debate, then you can say, even though they're probably not going to listen anyway, but that's what the difference is. Okay. So my is like I said, it's gonna be la'u or lo'u, la'u or lo'u. There's if I say la'u, it's gonna be something that's replaceable, right? If I say lo'u, that's gonna be something that's not replaceable. So my mom, olo'u tina, olo'u tama, olo'u fale, because it covers and protects. If I say olo'u tala, my story, you know, I'm looking at TV and I see this story that's, you know, out of my control. But then if I say ola'u tala, we already talked about that. That's my story coming out of my mouth. I have authority over it. Ola'u maile, well, I don't have a dog, but maile is a dog. I would say ola'u maile because that's my, I can tell the dog what to do. Get another dog if I want. Ola'u uwo, friend. Okay. Same with yours. So Lao, that's why I said like this Taofi is like another letter. Because that one little Taofi right there, the way that you pronounce it, Lau versus Lao, Lau, Lao, Lau, Lao, Lau, Lao. All right, it changes the whole word. So now we're talking about yours. So everything I just said, A class, if I say Olautala, that's your story that you have control over. If I say Olotala, that's a story that you don't have control over. I was, you know, watching TV and I saw you tripping on TV, and they had a narrative for it, right? Olotala, Olotala. That was your story. But you know, now I want to hear Olautala. What do you think about that? What really happened? Olautala. All right. His, her, or its. All of these are pretty much the same. I mean, they're the same. Only thing that's different is the actual, you know, the subject. So this one is going to be hers, his, or its. So olana, lana. So if I say olana tala, so it's a story of hers that she has control over, as opposed to olona tala, a story of hers that she has no control over. So we have lau, lao, lana, lo'u, lo, and and lona. Okay, so we have they all mean the same thing, but there's a different thing. There's either A class or O class. All right. So now there's also ours, yours, and theirs. So these are plural things. So it's multiple people owning one thing. Okay, multiple people owning one thing, and on this one it's only two people. So if I say oleta, oleta tavali. So that's our car. It's our car, us two. You know, it's our two car. We share it. This is the only car we got. We share it. Nobody's else is in this conversation. So if I say oleta tavali, so if I'm talking to my wife and I say, you know, it's, you know, our car. Can I use our car? I would say oleta tavali. You know, our car. Now, no, if I say olema, that means I'm excluding somebody. So there's a third person in the conversation, or even assumed in the conversation. And let's say I'm talking to Salesi, and I say, you know, yeah, we're gonna use olema ta'avale. So not you. This is our car. It's me. It's me and Chris' car. You know, olema ta'avale. So we're excluding you. So that's the difference between ta and ma. And we're gonna get to these pronouns. But leta, that is when it's just, you know, it's two people, but nobody's excluded from the conversation because nobody's here. Olema is when I'm talking to somebody and they're not included in what's going on between me and the other person. Or if I'm having a conversation and it's just understood that, yeah, we're excluding somebody. Yeah, we need to use olema ta'avale, like, you know, use our car. Okay. And just ask questions because I know this can be a little bit confusing. Lelua. Lelua is your two. Your two. So lua is actually the number for two. So if I say olelua ta'avale, so your two car. So yeah, you guys got your car. le lua, or le lua. So your two, okay, and then their two is gonna be ole la, ole la. We have practice after some practice questions after this, because I know this can be a little bit confusing. So ole la ta'avali, okay, and there's an A class and O class version just in case people are in here. I know there's some fluent Samoan speakers that are in here. There are A class and O class. But most people, from what I understand, speak like this, like they don't even know the A class and O class after this part. So, like I said, I posted before and they were like, what? That doesn't make sense. So it would be ole la. I'm sorry, ole ta. Let me write that. So here's an example of A class, our car. So if I were to say o la ta avale. So this is our the both of our car, right? It's the both of our car. But if I were to say o lota, oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Jesus, what I o la, I messed that whole thing up. O la ta'avale. Sorry about that. So this is the A class, o la. So it's a singular car, and it's A class. O la ta'avale, our car. If I say o lo, so this is the O class, it's a singular O class thing. It can't be a ta'avale because ta'avale is not an O class. So what would be an O class thing that I would talk about that belongs to us too?
Fale.
Fale, yep. So olo fale. So we have a singular, that's what the L makes this a singular thing, okay? And then we have an O class, all right, fale. So olo fale, all right? And when people are talking fast, it might sound like, oh, this kind of thing, like olo fale. This is why I don't talk about this part right now. We'll talk about it later because most people say this anyway. So our, so it's our two, ole ta'avale, ole ma ta'avale, or fale. See, like, and then also you can use these for either one. Le ta'avale, le ta'afale, or le ma ta'avale, or le ma fale. And then with ole lua ta'avale, ole lua fale. So it works for all of these. That's why, we'll just use this for now. If you guys have any questions, we'll come back to it. Le tato. So this is 3 or more. All of this here is the same as that, except now instead of we're talking about 2 people, we're talking about 3 or more. All right. So if I say ole tato ole tato fale, this is our house. And it's 3 or more people. Like it's one house that belongs to 3 or more people. And because we're using le, we could also say ole tato ta'a fale, which is our car, our singular car. We're talking about a singular thing here. Okay. So
Would it be motto if it's 2?
oh, sorry about that. Why did I type the same thing 2 times? No. If we say mato, it's gonna be it's 3 or more people, but we're excluding somebody. So let's just say there's 20 people in here right now, right? One person, let's just say it's me. So you're talking to me and you say, yeah, it's our car. So 19 of you guys own this one car and you're telling me, yeah, our car. So that would be mato. But if you're talking to me and you include me and I have the privilege of having access to your car, then it's tato. It's all of our car. It's all of our car. It's all of our house. Whatever the noun is, we all share it together. But mato is going to exclude some people. Tato includes everybody in the conversation. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Oleto. So that's multiple people. I saw in some books where it said ole oto, but I've never actually seen like I mean I'm sorry, I never actually heard anybody say ole oto. And if I don't think I did. So mostly it's like oleto. So it's your three. Oleto fale, like y'all's house, you guys' house. And then olelato, y'all's house. I'm sorry, their house. So your is to, and then lato is gonna be theirs. All right. I might be going too slow on this, I don't know. So we'll do this one last part. To make all of this plural, all we gotta do is drop the L's on these. We just drop the L. If we drop the L, then you see that? So if I say oa'ufale, I'm sorry, not a'ufale. If I say o'a'u ta'avale, let me write it out. If I say o'a'u ta'avale, what does this mean? Or first, what does ola'u ta'avale mean? What does that one mean?
It's my car.
My car, my
My
singular car, my one singular car, right? So if I wanted to say my cars all together, so this I have a fleet, I'm balling. So oa'u ta'avale. So it's my cars. Yep, my cars, Isaiah. So it's my cars, my multiple cars. So the L is what makes it singular and specific. So if I say, man, you like it's my car, it's my one car. But if I say like, that's my cars. So this is plural when there's no L in the front. But I guess you would have to be familiar with the with the limiter with the la'u first. So if you know that la'u is gonna be my car, my singular car, to make it plural, we have to just drop the L. And again, like I said, it just takes practice. When you drop that L, that makes it my cars, my multiple cars. Okay. Your car. Okay, your car is gonna be olau ta'vale. So that's your one car. So if I wanted to say your cars, your multiple cars, how do I say that?
O au Tavali.
Or cavale, or ta'vale. So your cars. You see how so and when you're growing up in like or being around English speaking people, they probably say, oh yeah, you're ta'vales. They just put the S on it. We don't do, in Samoan language, that's not a thing. So that would be like a hybrid, ta'vales, fales, tingatas, taines, tamas, all of that. That is like English and Samoan put together. We changed the plurality with the limiter. So olau ta'avale, that's a singular thing. So that is your car. Your car. If we wanted to say your cars, we take the L away. Almost, yeah, pretty much every instance we're going to take the L away of the limiter. And then now that singular your turns into multiple. Okay, your cars or au ka'avale. Or au ka'avale. Or au ta'avale. T style or K style. If you have questions about T style or K style, we can talk about that as well. Okay. So that is what changes the plurality of our noun, is this word in the front. It's either going to be plural Oau ta'avale, or it's gonna be like that. Olau ta'avale. As soon as you see that L, it's gonna be a singular thing. All right. Now, if we say olo, a ta'avale is not an O class thing. It is an A class. It's an A class thing. So we would have to change the word. So any O class, you can throw in an O class noun. Anyone? I guess we can stick with
Fale.
fale. Yeah, fale. So fale is the thing that qualifies as a O class because it covers and protects. So olo fale, your singular house, because there's that L right there. Now, if we wanted to make it your houses, how do we say your houses? Your houses. So this one right here would be wrong. We just have to
Okay, fale.
oh fale, yep. So we just take the L away. All right, that we just take the L away. So all of these singular limiters, all we do is we just take away the L to make it make it plural. That's all we gotta do. Okay. So if I say o fale, that's my houses. I own a block. I want to brag about that. O fale. If I say o fale, so that's your houses, like it says on the screen there. And if I say oona fale, that's his, her, or the trustee left the dog all of the houses or whatever. So that would be oona fale. Okay, there his, her, or its houses. Then down here, we're gonna come back to these right there because I think I might be spending too much time with that. Plus, these are more so like the pronouns that you would say before the verb. So we'll come to that. So if you just know this principle right here, that if you drop the L, it makes it plural. Remember that principle. If you remember that, then you're doing good. We'll come back to these. All right. Any questions? I don't see no questions. Okay. Now what we're gonna do, this is the fun part. To me, I always get excited about it because this is where I feel like I'm speaking Samoan because I combine an action with whoever's doing the action or whatever's doing the action. All right. So we're gonna go back to this part. And this is the part where a lot of people they leave, and this is the most exciting part. Okay, tense, action, subject. Now look at these as phrases. Okay, I have a question here. The L is kind of like A1. Yes. Yep. Oh, that's good. That's a good analogy. Is that the right word for it? I have to remember that. I need to write that one down. Yeah, so L is singular. L is singular. Okay, so tense, action, subject. So the whole first week, and maybe so that was 2 days, and then the third day we talked about the subject, right? Or letene, or letama. There's a whole way that you phrase a subject. The O, noun indicator, right? It's present tense. It's always present tense because all we're doing is we're identifying what something is. We're saying oletene. It is the girl, right? But now when we combine that subject, whoever the subject is, whatever the subject is, right? With a tense in the action, we drop the O. Big principle right there. That's a big principle. We don't need the O like oletene because we have a tense already. And that tense is going to carry all the way through whatever we're saying. That tense carries all the way through. So if you recall, and actually we'll go back and just review the worksheet just real fast. Olea, that's the future tense marker. Okay, so we combine our tense and our action. So savali is to walk. So if I say olea savali, what's that mean?
We'll walk the girl.
We'll walk the girl. We'll walk the girl. Or and then So when you translate it in English, is the girl will walk. The girl is gonna walk, or there's several ways to translate it. Okay. So this is where a lot of people get lost because you're listening for, well, I was listening for, the girl will walk. The girl is gonna walk. That sort of thing. But we start with a tense, an action, and then the subject. So again, this part is flipped around too, and for English speakers, will walk the girl, or the girl will walk. Okay, tense, action, and then our subject. And then again, we drop the O because we already have a tense marker. We don't need a present tense marker because we're relying on this tense marker to tell us what everything is doing. The girl will walk. Okay, and that tense combines with the action. If you have a question, please, stop. Because like I said, this is the most critical day. If you can get this part, then the rest of it is going to be, I think, very understandable. Now, you can combine two subjects if you want to. Okay, the same way we did in the second week. All we did is, if we said, ole teine maletama, or whatever, we combine two subjects with the ma, right? Only thing missing from this, ignore the tense and the action. If we just say ole tama maletene, all it means is the boy
And the
okay,
girl.
and the girl. That's it. The boy and the girl. So we're just talking about two subjects. We learned that in the maybe second week. I don't know. Last week. Oletene maletama. But now we have a new element. So just keep these in mind. We have two subjects put together, but now we have natusi. Okay. So last week we introduced your tense and the action. Anytime you put an action up there, it has to have a tense. It's the same thing in English. So walk, walked, will walk, was walking, finna walk. I mean, there's so many ways that you can say it, but the tense, I'm sorry, the action is you have to put a time to the action, or a tense. Okay, and in our case, in the Samoan language case, it's right here, right in front of it. So na tusi. Tusi is to write. Okay, tusi is to write. As a subject, it means book, but this is an action. It's an action phrase, so we're talking about to write. So na tusi. So if I say na tusi, what does that mean?
Right.
Wrote. Wrote. Exactly.
Wrote.
It's a past tense right, so it's wrote. So we have na tusi, wrote, and then letama maletene. What does this mean all together?
Wrote
The boy and the girl wrote.
The boy and the girl wrote. Exactly. So again, this is where a lot of some English speakers get lost when we're learning someone, because we kind of start in the middle of the sentence, the boy and the girl, the boy and the girl, and then we go to the front, in our translation, the boy and the girl wrote. But in Samoan, we're going to say wrote. Let me erase this first. In Samoan, we say wrote the boy and the girl. Wrote the boy and the girl. But, it's just the word order. So if you can get the word order, and it just takes a lot of practice, it'll become second nature after all the practice. I guess it's not second nature, it just takes practice. So Natusi wrote the boy and the girl. And if you listen to your aunties and your uncles that and even your cousins, I just had a cousin that visited us, and this is how he wrote the boy and the girl. But he was talking about something else, but he said the tense and the action first, and then he said who did it. So just listen to how they speak when they first get here. After a while they acclimate, but it starts off with the tense, the action usually, and then the subject. If it's one subject, that's one thing. If it's two, equally doing the action, they connect it with the ma. So natusi letama maleteni. Any questions on that? Okay, and then again, if you guys want to, most Sundays, it looks like for the next, until we're, our 8 weeks, I'm here just kind of catching people up. I think there might be some people here this their first day. So just show up on Sunday, 11 a.m. California time, which would be in Australia, it's gonna be Monday evening sometime. I forget what time, but I'll announce it on Thursday if I'm able to do it. So we did pronouns Thursday or last week in our last class. So oi was you, a'u is me, and we both equally did the action. So we connected with the ma because we both did whatever we're talking about. So what are we talking about? We're talking about natusi. So it's a past tense. It's the same as the last one. So wrote you and me. You and I wrote, or yeah, you and I wrote. So I guess I should write it out. So this is you and I. You and I. Okay, and then natusi. When you see an action, it's gonna come with a tense every time. If you don't hear a tense, it's because it's a command. So, for example, somebody say "alu oi," like go, like get out of here. That's it's a command. So you have to do it right now. But if I'm telling you something, then it's always, I can't think of a time where it's not, unless everything is understood, the tense is already understood. It's gonna be past tense, past right. And past right is gonna be equals to a wrote. Equals wrote. So you and I wrote. Natusi oi ma'u. Natusi oi ma'u. Nakusi oi ma'u. You and I wrote. Okay, so we're building. All we're doing is we're building right now. We have two subjects, tense and action. So no, okay, no. We'll skip this part for right now. And we did talk about that. We had our past tense markers. I guess we can make this sort of like a quiz. What are our past tense markers? You can just name any ones that you can think of. So we got our past tense markers. What's that?
Na,
Ma.
sa.
Na and sa, exactly. Na and sa. Okay. And let's use the see, I guess that's what they do when they play this game. Tamoe, to run. Okay. So if we say na tamoe, what does na tamoe mean?
Ran.
Ran. This means ran because it's past tense, the action is over and done. But if I say sa tamoe, what does that mean?
Was running.
Was running.
Was running, exactly. So it's like I'm telling a story and I take you back in time and I say, yeah, the guy was running. So was running. So the action is not over. It's in the past, but as I'm telling it to you, the action isn't over yet. Okay. Present tense, what are our present tense markers?
Yeah, I heard that.
Oh, you know what? Let's go to, we do have a worksheet.
Shooting?
Let's see, let's go here.
and to
Oops. Okay, I guess we can use this one right here. So which one, what is our action again? What did I just say? Tamoe. Tamoe. So we'll use tamoe. So which one is a present, pick a present tense marker and then we'll define it.
Olo'o.
Olo'o. Okay, what does olo'o tamoe mean?
running.
Running.
Running, okay. And since we're on the sheet, let's just do a subject. You can pick any subject you want. Who was doing the running or what was doing the running? Taine, okay. Okay. So how would we say the whole sentence out? If
Olo'u tomoe tenge.
taine, okay, and then what does that mean altogether?
Girl is running.
Girls running.
Girl is
Girls
running.
running, right. The girls are running. The girls are running. And then like we haven't talked about compound like tamamoe and things like that, but this is good for now. So like we have
Is that plural or singular?
For the girls that ran,
Should-
well ran it would be like na tamoe. So a plural tamoe would be like tamamoe. So you'll hear that a lot, but you also hear people like they'll say olo tamoe, and then they'll like they don't even observe the compounded like the plural action. We haven't got there yet, so that's why I kind of don't want to like talk about it too much. But like tamoe would be one of those where you if it's gonna be plural. Actually, let's do it like this. Just for now, let's just make this singular. If this was gonna be the girl was run, the girl is running. How would we say that?
Pequeña.
Thank you. Le tengo. Okay, or le tiene, either one. So the girl is running. The girl is running. Okay, we'll get to the compounded actions. So when you for a lot of words or for a lot of keywords, when you make it a plural thing, it'll turn the action into something else. So olo tamoe le tiene. So the girl is running. So we have a singular girl, the one girl, that's our subject, and then we have is running, currently running, like right now. All right. What's another present tense marker? And we can go ahead.
Muy.
Muy, okay. Muy. Okay, so we have muy. And then who is doing muy?
Epovi.
Lipovi? Oh, Lipovi, okay. So we have muy Lipovi. All right. So how will we translate this in English?
the cow is sleeping.
Okay, so I'll write that. The cow is sleeping. Okay. Actually, and when people translate things, that they probably would mean it like that. But we'll be all the way technical in here just so that we know the difference. So olo'o moi lepovi would mean like the cow is sleeping, like right now. But if we were to say I'm sorry, moi lepovi, technically, what would that mean? Not
The cow sleeps.
the cow sleeps. Oops, why did I say the car? The cow sleeps. The cow sleeps. So it's a habitual thing. This is what the cow does. In muy lipovi, and then we turn it to, we make the sapsui with it. So the cow sleeps. Okay. So in muy lipovi, the cow sleeps. But if I just want to throw this out there. You might hear people say, exchange with olo. And like all of the present tense markers, you'll hear people interchange them. So, but like I said, we have to be technical in here only because we need to have a foundation of what we're learning. So, what's another present tense marker?
Eh,
Yeah. So that's this one right here. We can do another if you want to. But
I think the other one is Ted.
as a te.
yeah, te.
Te, okay. So we'll get to te next week only because it's it involves like different kinds of pronouns. So we'll get to that one, but you're definitely right. So te.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Ua, yep, ua. So okay. So we're right here. What would be our action and our subject? You can just pick whatever.
Vai.
Va'ai, ua va'ai. Oops. Ua va'ai, and then what, the subject? I'm sorry, what was that?
Sorry, I was telling you, Alicia, it means look.
I forgot.
Oh, okay, yeah, to look, yep, so, look,
The dirty dog.
the dirty dog, okay, and then how, go ahead.
Le maile papala.
Le maile pa pala,
Pala.
pa la, okay. Okay, so le maile pa pala, so ua va'ai le maile pa pala, so how, altogether is gonna be, oh yeah, how would we say this in English if we were to be technical? And then you could say it the other way.
The dirty dog watches or looks. Dirty dog looks.
The dirty dog, okay, the dirty, oops, dog looks. Okay, so that would be more so like I. So if it, because that's what the dog does. Again, I'm being really technical because you're gonna hear people say, you know, they'll say I, they might pop a lot, they'll say it like that. But in this case, being all the way technical, if I say I, we're indicating a change in a situation. So you're just being updated. So if let's just say we've been watching the dog all day. He's not looking, he's not doing nothing. We're like, we do something. Finally, he come back to the room, and then you know, say, you know, what's going on? And then I say, "Oh, you know, over island." Sorry. The dog looks, you know, over island might pop a lot. You know, the you know, the dirty dog looks. You did that on purpose. So it's a change in the situation. So I'm updating you. So that's what the UA is. So let me think, was
I know every time my daughter's sleeping, my mom, she always goes like, one more, like,
Yeah.
is the baby sleeping? Yeah, or something like that.
yeah, that makes sense because like she's asking like, oh, have you slept? You know, are you asleep? You know, or did you sleep? You know, so even though it's a question, she's asking about something in the past, or like she's checking on you, it's something that you might have done already. It's still she wants to update the the you know, the UA. She wants the UA. So
Is
eh,
it like something finally happened?
right, well,
Like, oh, she finally went to sleep, or the dog
yeah,
finally.
exactly. That you could say that. You could say, yeah, muy pepe, like man, all day. You know, so the last time you asked me, you know, the baby was awake. Then you come back in and I say, yeah, muy pepe, like the baby sleep. You know, the baby's, you know, it's now the baby is asleep. So again, it's just updating you on, you know, what's going on. So you'll hear these used interchangeably a lot, but that's what there's subtle differences, even though they're all present tense. So ua, and olo. Okay, that's a great example. Thank you for saying that. Oh, we only got 5 minutes. I talk so long. Olea. So that is our what's the action we want to put with that one?
So sorry, does Olea what not have the accent on the E?
Right, exactly. So if we say olea le me fai. So if I say like, you know, what are you doing?
Doing.
That's different from olea. Oh, I'm sorry. Olea. It's hard for me to, because really when people are speaking, you can't tell the difference. I can't tell the difference, honestly. Or, but olea, you know, the way that it is right here, where you have the taofi after the, so olea, that is your tense marker. A lot of times people will just say the you know, they'll just say and then as a tense marker, like future tense, you know, and then
And
the
this is one word, there's no space. I think on one thing it was written with a space after the Komaliu or whatever you call that.
Uh,
But it's
after-
just, there's no space.
it just depends. People write it different ways. So I just actually on all of these, I know it's inconsistent, but I just do it the way that I see it, the way I see it. So it could be like this, or you can take the A, there could be a space between the Taofi and the A with the Fatma Mafa over it, so it could be like that or it could be like this. Just know that if you see like if you just see by itself, if you see Olea, there is more than likely it's going to be a question, but if once you see like a Olea, that's going to be like the tense marker, the future tense marker. So, and I know it's confusing right now because we haven't got to questions yet, but once we get the questions and we say so many of them, then it's like, oh, okay, I see the difference, because there's also a different pattern, because right after this one is going to be, whatever our action is. But then olea, it's almost like a noun, because it's like olea le me fai, what the thing you do, or like
Ole alo fika.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Ole alo fika.
Yeah, olealo fika. Yeah, so it's like it's almost always like what you're asking what, and then a noun with the question, like what, and if you ask what happened, it's gonna be like what, and then you have to go into like a tense action subject sort of situation. Whereas if you say olea, that's already a tense, so you go right into the action. Okay, and I know it's probably just early to talk about it right now, but if so after olea or olea is going to be whatever action you want. So
Regala.
faikala, okay, olea olea faikala, and then well, who's the subject, or what is the subject that olea faikala?
A beautiful girl.
The beautiful girl. And how do we say that in Samoan?
Tini alele.
Letene,
Liteni Manaya.
Letene Manaya, Letene Aulele, either one. The nice girl, the beautiful girl, the pretty girl. So Olea Faikala Letene Aulele. Le. So I guess we'll close on this note. If I say Olea Faikala, I wouldn't say Letene Aulele, because I use the K style with the Faikala. So if I say Olea Faikala, and then I would use the K style over here too. I would say Ole Genge Aulele. If I say Olea Faitala, then I would finish it off with the Oletene Aulele. Like I would use the T style all the way through. So this is someone, I think they said they were gonna come. I haven't looked over here where you guys are at to see if they're here or not. But like if you start with a T, go all the way through with your T's. If you start with a K, go all the way through with your K. So I use up your whole hour already. Back in the lava. If you have any questions, just hang around. I'll be here until everybody is done. See you guys on Thursday. Friday if you're in Samoa, Australia, New Zealand.
Thank you very much.
Bye.